As far back as I can remember, I dreamt of a normal life. A life filled with normal things. A life where monsters don't live in closets or under the bed. A life where ghosts aren't real. I just wanted to be normal. But that didn't happen. It wasn't meant to be. Since my early 20s, I have experienced profound paranormal events that would change my life. Extreme poltergeist activity, living amongst those that have departed this earth in ways unimaginable. It has affected my loved ones and children with no end in sight. I could hear things, see things, and feel things not of this world. I asked myself if this was a gift or a curse. With the help of my mother and close friends, I emerged a paranormal investigator. Since 2013, I have been on a relentless journey to learn about the paranormal. This is my time to share my journey with you. Welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. Hello and welcome to my Paranormal Soapbox. I'm your friendly neighborhood ghost hunter, Justin Brown, and we are presenting episode 74. Thank you for joining us tonight. We're going to be talking about interdimensional beings. What are they? Do they exist? All those things we're going to be speaking about tonight. We're going to have as much as fun as possible. We're going to be talking about some updates coming up on a lot of the fronts. I know I'm going to plug some stuff on our Media network tonight, and hopefully you guys will share and get this party rolling. We got the girls with me tonight, as always. Are you girls okay? Are you ready? Are you tired?
I'm ready.
I'm ready.
Very good, very good. So, if you're new to the show and you want to interact, if you want us to shout us or shout you out, rather, all you got to do is say hi in the comments at least once, and the girls will read you off and make you a part of the show. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to put them down there in the chat, and we will address them periodically through the show. I'm going to talk to you folks for about 10-15 minutes about what I think interdimensional beings are and what's going on with them. So here we go, down the rabbit hole once again. You may ask, what is an interdimensional being, right? What is that? Well, it's a extra dimensional being, also interdimensional or other dimensional. Okay, this is all ideals, hypotheses. It's none of this is like a fact or proven. Okay, is a type of hypothetical or a real entity in a dimensional or in a dimension beyond our own. Such beings are common in science fiction, fantasy, and supernatural fiction. These types of beings may be cryptids, they may be extraterrestrials, aliens, and you could consider angels, demons, and other non-human beings as interdimensional, and I'll explain why. Also, I think it'd be worth talking about Men in Black, because it seems like a lot of times when there's interdimensional or extra-dimensional phenomena occurring, UFOs, abductions, Men in Black seem to pop up around the UFO sightings and abductions, and around cryptid sightings as well. There may be an independent group of people associated with the New World Order, or groups who handle the management concerning how aliens and other beings engage with the population. And I think we should definitely talk about some of those conspiracies and see what you guys think about it. But the possibility of other dimensions being out there, it's not an old idea. It's been around for a very, very long time in our culture. And I think that it's very, very possible. And I personally believe the possibility is pretty large. And why do I believe that? Well, it seems like there's a trend of phenomena that science uncovers all the time There's things out there that we cannot see that's all around us that we begin to understand through other means of detection, measurement, and observation. We have not reached the point where, at least publicly, science has, pretty much, you know, gave in to the ideas like, hey, well, we know that extra dimensions are out there. Here's how we know. We know that extra dimensions are involved in string theory and the emergence theory when you're talking about the Q8 lattice or the 8th dimensional lattice, or E8 rather, sorry, and other conspiracy theories that involve the Philadelphia experiment and other stuff that you see out there deep down the rabbit hole that you look at. So you begin to question UFOs, cryptids, men in black. What's going on? Well, we're going to talk about it tonight. We're going to talk about what interdimensional beings are. If you want to talk about Bigfoot, a lot of people believe that Bigfoot is an interdimensional being. That may be the reason why you don't see Bigfoot remains being dug up all the time. That may be why he pops in and out of an existence, seemingly. It may be why he has these magical properties and powers that people report observing Bigfoot having. And it doesn't just end and begin with Bigfoot. One of my favorite cryptids is the Mothman. And I know we have a Mothman historian in here, so he's going to definitely add to a lot of this, what if he thinks about this. But a lot of people believe that Mothman is an interdimensional being. And if you know a lot about the Mothman, you definitely have heard about Indrid Cold. And you've heard about the Men in Black that's been reported or cited when the people of Point Pleasant, West Virginia first started seeing this Mothman creature before the collapse of the Silver Bridge in Point Pleasant, West Virginia. So I always looked at it and understood it from the angle of somehow there's some kind of curse that kind of started from the 1777 era when Chief Cornstalk was murdered with his son. And it just seems like the Mothman kind of fits maybe a Thunderbird legend or some type of interdimensional being that could be associated with that curse. Now, it's believed that Chief Cornstalk cursed the white people in that area before he died, but I don't know if that's true or not. But there's a wide belief that he did. It's in the lore. Mothman historian can definitely let me know if I'm right or wrong about that or what he thinks. But the fact that the Men in Black were sighted there and were asking questions and interrogating people after seeing this thing is the smoking gun to that. These beings seem to come from other dimensions or use extra dimensions to travel. And that's where the aliens come in. That's where UFOs come in. A lot of UFO phenomena is kind of explained as orbs of light that seem to pop up around mountain ranges and forests and seem to defy the laws of physics or seem to pop in and out of our reality. What are they doing? Is it a cloaking device, or are they going into some type of other dimension to either cloak themselves or travel around? Well, those are all good questions. So that I think that would classify them as interdimensional beings because they're able to use extra dimensions to travel, move around, navigate, possibly even live in. I'm pretty sure that if aliens do exist, that's possible. And there's a lot of people that believe that. And I'm one of the people out there that leave room in my head for that belief. And the openness of our culture to look into the UFO phenomena is rapidly growing in mainstream media and culture. So that is very interesting right now. That's definitely something that's probably a whole nother show or up to discussion. I would love to have an open discussion with some people about that. But I'm not really a UFO expert, so I don't know I don't feel comfortable, having some type of stance on it. But as far as when it comes to demons, angels, and other non-human entities, I believe those could be considered extra-dimensional beings as well because they come from realms outside of our own, other dimensions, if you will. So I think the paranormal and extra dimensional and interdimensional beings kind of get wrapped up into one all of weirdness. Okay. I think there's room for people to perceive these entities that I mentioned as interdimensional, extra dimensional. Okay. You kind of have to have these extra dimensions or different places of spatial dimension out there for them to do things, for them to dwell in. The spirit realm is always, failed to connect to chat server. Please try reloading. Try to see if it'll reload. I had to reload my restream. Sorry about that. See if it's working now. Seems to be. Type a 1 in the chat and see if it's working. It does seem, yeah, it's working now. Sorry about that. But the extra dimensions that are out there seem to be essential when it comes to this type of phenomena. The spirit realm is not alone. You know, this is included. So I want to know what you guys think. I think that understanding what these extra dimensions are can help us not only classify some things, determine some things, but try to understand and think about things a little bit more. And, you know, look at it as a bigger picture, kind of think outside the box a little, especially when it comes to cryptids. I know there's a lot of substantiated animal species out there but we probably are just now discovering or haven't discovered yet. But I think some are explainable, some are hoaxes, some are misidentifications, some are legitimate interdimensional beings, and I think Bigfoot and Mothman could be one of them, one of the exceptions. So look at all they're spamming numbers now. Yep, it's working. So I want to know what you guys think. What is that? The failed to connect chat server. Try again.
That was from earlier.
Is it still on there?
It's still on there. It's working its way through the chat.
Okay, I'm still seeing it on the feed. That's weird. Still seeing it on my broadcast feed. That's annoying.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hope that don't persist, because I don't want to keep clicking it. Yeah, that's not very fun. All right, so we can do some shout outs, see who's joining us tonight, and go from there.
Okay. On the Justin Brown page, I have Derek Schreiner, I have Bonnie Ring, I have Holly Mullins, Marilyn Boris, Sandy Griffin, Bill Davis, Josh Bender, Robert Watt, Heather Knapp, Jamie Everson, I call her, Becky Compton, Philip Wyatt, and RJ Murphy. It says I have 43 viewers on the RU Media page.
I'm seeing that.
But no one has commented.
I think the Chinese bots are up to this. I think David will have got the Chinese bots to watch the stream or something. Wow, okay. Well, if you're watching on RU Media, hello. Thanks for joining us. Feel free to talk to us. We want to know what's going on in your head concerning interdimensional beings, because I think there's a lot to discuss there. It's pretty broad topic. So I would love to see Missy read off 41 people's names right now. Do it.
He would love it.
Right.
I do have an interesting comment Sandy made.
Okay, can you hold on to it? Let's shout out YouTube and then we'll get to her, all right?
Okay.
All right. Sam Thomas, Mountain View, Betty Kegley, Joe, Val, Mothman Historian, Jen Rogue, Scotty Fox, Eric Weiss.
Awesome. I'm really, really being irritated by seeing the chat saying failed to connect to server. I've never seen that before, ever. And I don't know quite what to do. Let me see if I can see what's going on with that. Go ahead and read Sandy Griffin's question or comment.
She said, I wish I could have seen Mothman too before my mom hustled us all in the house.
Oh, is she from West Virginia?
She is from West Virginia. She's originally from about 10 minutes down the road from that caves that we went to.
Oh,
Everybody was in.
that explains it. So she was actually around when the Silver Bridge collapsed. Then probably she would have been around for that. Maybe.
Yeah.
I would like to hear what she thought about that happening.
Holly Mullen said, I have had visions of the Men in Black. Damn it. It just scrolled
That's
up.
interesting. Like, can she elaborate a little bit?
She did. She said, I've had visions of the Men in Black and Bigfoot. I am a traveler, so I guess I was shown this for knowledge. I assume it was crazy. Never have had another vision of it.
Interesting. I'm going to troubleshoot this real quick. I'm going to go to my overlays. Hey guys, hold on, please. I'm going to fix this red box thing here real quick. So let's see if we. Oh man, I'm going to lose viewers if I do it. I don't think I can. I think I'll lose viewers if I troubleshoot it. So go ahead.
Mothman said Cornstalk's seventh descendants, Lynn Fawn, and pretty much all local historians agree that Cornstalks did not curse the land. He was a great man and man of peace, and wouldn't do that.
Interesting. Thanks for your feedback on that. Oh, yeah, there's a lot of people chiming in. Thank you very much for chiming in. That's awesome. What do you guys think? Do you guys think aliens are interdimensional beings? Do you think that it's just the way they travel, or a potential way that they travel, or you think they may be from extra dimensions? Do you think angels and demons may be considered interdimensional or extra dimensional? Do you think ghosts can be considered that? Even cryptids. I mean, Mothman, do you think Mothman and Bigfoot are interdimensional? Like, what do you think about it?
He actually told me to read about the above message, and I apologize. He says Cornstalks is definitely a part of the history. I heard the story of the curse growing up there in West Virginia. It's pretty much debunked in 2012 when it was proven to come from a dramatic fictional play. And that's when he was saying Cornstalk's seventh descendant, Lynn Fawn. Comment. Sorry, I missed the first one, Mothman. I told you to be easy on me today. I'm really tired.
Yeah, he's going to be probably pretty knowledgeable, not only about Mothman, but interdimensional being lore.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's
Scotty,
right.
Scotty just wants to know if Spider-Man is an alien.
Well, not according to the story I've read about Spider-Man. What makes you think that?
Mothman, the Men in Black, was introduced into the UFO lore by Albert Bender and Gary Barker in 1953. They left it open to what they might be. It keeps moving. Might be, but either originally considered them interdimensions. We just need to get Mothman on the show tonight.
Eventually, I'm going to do call-ins. I don't know if I want to open those floodgates, especially with the turnout we're having tonight. We'll probably jam the lines at some point, but I do eventually want to have people call in to this show in particular. We'll see what happens. What do you guys think? What do you guys think, the viewers? Do you think I should have a call-in period of time for this show for people to call in to ask questions and to kind of, do a short conversation about the topic? Maybe during the 2-hour Q&A, the freestyle Q&A.
I was going to say, past experience when I've done something like that, it was always like a 2-hour show.
Yeah, it leaves more room.
TJ Sheldon jumped on. Robert Murphy jumped on. Anthony Grothaus jumped on. And Freddie Johnson jumped on.
Awesome. Guys, I have to try to do this real quick. Please do not go anywhere. I think I'm only going to give you a black screen for just a few seconds. So let me go over here. Just bear with me real quick. Okay, guys, just bear with me real quick. I'm going to grab a URL and I'm going to embed it back into the chat, and we will continue the show. All I got to do is copy this and we'll be good. Put it in there. Okay. All right, I'm going to have to redo this. So give me just 1 second and I'll redo this real quick. We'll go over to scenes. All right, let's see if that works. It's not, the correct dimensions are not right, but it's better than seeing the red bars. Go ahead.
RU Media said sharing the hell out of this to keep the numbers up.
I appreciate, buddy. You weren't kidding when you said you were going to.
Holly Mullen said, yes, you should definitely have guests call in.
Okay.
I'm getting the same response on YouTube as well.
Philip Wyatt said no because people are nuts.
Well, see, the thing I have to figure out is I'm going to have to screen them if that gets nuts, and we'll need someone to help with that here. So Christy's the only other person that can help with that, and I don't think she's going to like that idea. You know what I mean?
She would kick your butt.
Yeah, I know. Oh, that chat is wide. I gotta fix it. It's driving me crazy. I gotta fix it. Okay. Oh, I didn't move it over. I tell you what, this is hard dealing with all this stuff. It didn't go right. I gotta try it again. I'm trying to do it too fast. There. We'll try that. Sorry, guys. So, anybody else chiming in, or anybody got any questions?
Sherry Lewis said, dude, OCD much?
You have no idea. You have no idea. I've never had that problem with the chat app before. I fixed it, though. I knew. Go ahead.
Paranormal Reporter said, I shared this with another dimension.
Dude, how did you do it? I want to know your secrets. So, can we take this? Let's try to take this subject seriously. Let's try to break open the minds. I want to explore what you guys think about what interdimensional beings are. I really want to know. Do you consider divine entities, angels, demons, as interdimensional or extra-dimensional? Do you consider aliens to be that? Bigfoot? I mean, what do you guys think? Because I think it's interesting to understand how the theoretical physics of today is maybe intersecting with the realms of the paranormal. If you follow string theory at all, it's speculated that mathematically it has to have 10 dimensions, when time being the 11th dimension in that theory for it to work. And their reasoning behind why there's so many dimensions is it's in the math, but the reason they think we can't see them is because they're small. What if these extra dimensions are just spatial dimensions that are phasing in and out with our own, or primarily phased out of our existence because of vibrational characteristics? You know what I'm saying? If you can kind of get science fiction on me for a moment, things can seem to phase in and out of our existence in certain ways, and I think it's just due to the higher vibrations of the dimensional properties. If that's true, that would explain a lot of phenomena that we see, a lot of people that report strange things, from UFOs to cryptids to ghosts to all kinds of stuff. I think that would just explain a lot if we could somehow, using science, not only detect but measure things in extra dimensions, see them, understand them more. One of the most interesting and intriguing theories that that I've read about is the many worlds interpretation, which means that once we started figuring out that particles, and especially electrons, behave like waves, and the probability of the positions of electrons in that waveform can be in superposition. So when there's a measurement or an observation, it collapses. So the theory of many worlds interpretation suggests that in our dimension, it collapsed into one possibility, but all the other possibilities are still existing out there, somewhere decoherent from our own. Would that explain a lot of ghostly phenomena that we encounter? Voices out of thin air, seeing people walk through walls, all kinds of stuff like that. I think I've always, hypothesized if that was true or not. What do you guys think? Do we have anybody else in the chat that's going down this rabbit hole?
I know Mothman was commenting. He had 4 big comments. If you want to read them off.
I can't.
Oh.
That's why I have you. We'll wait on you.
John Keel hold on. John viewed the paranormal as a state of energy that surrounds us by manifesting things forth, playing archetypes and the mythological characters, including monster spirits, UFOs. I'll go with that. Keel considered it to be a possibility that these manifestations and that the force was interdimensional or quantum or related to electromagnesium. He toyed around with wave science could explain, but at the end of the day, knew that science couldn't exactly explain all that quite yet. He could consider it a divine force that is manifesting these things and converging them with humans. I gotta put you on mute. I'm gonna get my glasses.
Uh-oh. I couldn't read any of this stuff. Go ahead.
Okay, I have a few comments. RU Media said fully subscribe to the Bigfoot as an interdimensional or perhaps a time slip.
Right.
Question mark.
Yeah, it seems like there's no remains that you can dig up. People see them. You would think they would be in the fossil records if they were actual living creatures. That is my main problem. Yeah, people can have counter arguments to that, but I don't buy it. I think it has to be either a ghost or an interdimensional phenomena. That's my guess.
RU Media also said, I've often thought about time slips from some cryptids, Bigfoot, Loch Ness Monster, etc.
Yep.
Sandy said, hate to tell you, Justin, but now we can't see the chat. Derek said it's so tiny.
Yeah, I could pop over and try to fix it.
Holly said that's what she said.
Let me try to fix it. That's the best I can do for right now, Derek. Okay, go ahead.
It's good. Philip Wyatt said, like mediumship, when you connect with the right frequency and vibration, you make a connection, possibly the same with another dimension. When the elements are just right, we bump into each other.
Right, yes. I believe that if you look at quantum field theory, that's the best example. I know this is getting really sciencey and techy, but you guys really need to take a look at what we've been studying with the quantum field theory. Now, the electron field can interact with the photon field. Everything in physics and quantum theory has fields, okay? So the electron field can interact with the photon field and release photons, okay? So what Philip is suggesting is if these extra dimensions are, in a sense, their own field or plane, these can interact and have dynamics with each other. It may be a part of how dimensions function in the larger picture. So if that is true, we're oscillating in and out. There's some type of wave pattern. If that's true, then it has to be mathematical, and we should be able to predict when this occurs and how it occurs. This is interesting to me, and I want to figure this out, but I just don't know, based on my knowledge of the subject and my resources, how I would be any help in figuring that out, other than just thinking about it and reading literature and coming up with ideas.
Scotty had a question.
Go ahead.
Does Justin think that sun magnetic bursts may have a connection with the paranormal or interdimensional entities?
What kind of bursts?
Sun magnetic.
Oh. I haven't seen any evidence. I'm not saying there isn't, but any data that suggests that. I have considered it and thought about it, but I don't know how to measure that and kind of correlate it with phenomena that I'm able to observe or measure during an investigation or any type of experiment. I would be very, very open and interested in that type of stuff. If you could do that, I would definitely be interested.
Joe says that he was reading that the Bigfoot was just a story, and it all started with, and I'm not even going to try to pronounce that.
Gigantopithecus?
No idea.
Yeah, Gigantopithecus was actually a real creature that existed, that is extinct. It's in the fossil record, and it looks like a Bigfoot. That's what a lot of people believe that they're seeing is the actual Gigantopithecus being saw. Like, it's not extinct. I don't believe that, but some people do. Some people think it's the ghost of Gigantopithecus. That's possible. It could be a time slip of Gigantopithecus. But
Dan,
sorry.
Dan from Supernatural Lost Adventures joins.
What's up, buddy? Talk to us about the weirdest things you possibly imagine. Interdimensional beings. A force of energy that surrounds us brings in monsters and beings in a classic occultic idea that I consider a possibility regardless of which science fits to it. Thought forms. I think there may be a science to thought forms and psychokinetic energy. I think that's where you're going with that, or that's the way I would go with it. I can help you read some of these just if they don't go they're flying by really fast. Jen agrees with Mothman there. A myth that Indians hid them from man because man would kill them because the way they looked, they were friendly. I haven't heard about that. Definitely interesting though. Klung, klung, klung.
Right? This stupid thing.
What was Philip saying about solar flares? It went out on my screen.
He said solar flares. We tracked solar and lunar for each investigation and see no pattern. Sandy asked, do you think that maybe when you think you're in a haunted location that you could be standing in an interdimensional spot?
Yeah, absolutely. That's, when I was talking about how different, well, Philip had asked the question and I was talking about extra planes of existence bumping up to ours, making it to where both our planes of existence coincide for a moment or maybe a certain period of time. Absolutely. That could explain a lot of phenomena that we're experiencing. Back to the solar stuff, I do believe that there are portals in our magnetic field due to solar flare fluctuations or the fluctuations in the radiation that the sun puts off. I don't know if there's anything to that, but there might be something there, Philip, that we want to look at in our magnetic field around our Earth. There are portals that pop in and out that we can detect. So wouldn't it be interesting if that's how UFOs were using those little portals in our magnetic field to to come here. I think that would be crazy.
Mothman says the paranormal and science very different, yet they are dancing partners throughout history.
There's a lot of similarities now when it comes to the quantum realm. There's a lot of resistance because scientists don't like woo and they don't like the paranormal because of ego. Now, if you look at Einstein, he did not like a lot of things that were coming up, being observed by quantum effects. He didn't like the many worlds interpretation. He didn't like the whole thing to where the moon wasn't there unless you were looking at it type thing. He didn't think God rolled dice with reality. And he had a lot of problems with the quantum entanglement problem where information traveled faster than the speed of light with two entangled particles. But his biggest blunder, one of his biggest blunders and flaws, was he had hung on to his own beliefs when it comes to this, you know. And many physicists has been quoted by saying that things are real whether we like them, believe them to be or not. So they don't have to make sense to us. They don't have to make us feel good or bad about it. It's just what it is. And I think that's why science and the paranormal field clash a lot, because we don't want to let go of our biases about certain things. And what I stress a lot on this show, and to a lot of people out there that are getting into the paranormal, that interested in the paranormal, is you have to be open-minded. You cannot let your biases close your mind and constrict what is possible, what you're able to perceive as possible. And I think that is a lot of reasons why people cannot connect with the spirit realm, why they cannot connect with psychic abilities. That's very interesting. Justin, the reason Mothman is often called interdimensional is because Keel's perspective, which I agree with, I hopefully detailed it properly here. I don't know if he had any prior ones to that I didn't get a chance to read. I'll have to look into the Keel's perspective. I have no knowledge of that right now. Philip says solar flares reduce mental mediumship communication between or because of the interruption of frequencies, etc. So I read. Interesting. If mediumship has anything to do with magnetic fields, then yes. Or, or frequencies. When you say frequencies, I want to know what type of frequencies you're talking about. I would definitely want to get more detailed with that, because I would be curious about that. Black holes could be why. What was she saying? What's the case with the black hole, Sam? I'm not
She's saying black hole. She thinks the black hole could be like
an interdimension, like the opening, like a portal.
No, well, she was saying that it could be. Oh my gosh, hold on. I gotta scroll up.
Yeah, scroll up.
What if the black hole is the stairway to heaven or hell? That's what she was talking about.
Oh, yeah. There's a lot of people that believe that black holes could be gateways into other dimensions. Don't know if that's true or not, but there's a whole lot of things being sucked into them, and you have to wonder where it's going. Definitely. You haven't investigated with Philip, you probably should. He's very intelligent. Yes, I know this about Philip. I would like to investigate with a lot of people. There's a long list.
Philip said, I have experimented with ITC and full moons, and I do get less responses that seem relevant.
I have too. Actually, black moons are more active for me than full moons. And that kind of makes sense if you think about it. When you try to purify things and cleanse things, you do it during a full moon. During a black moon, that would be the inverted period of time of this. So, what do you guys think? Do you guys get a lot of stuff during full moons or black moons or any type of activity during different lunar phases? Because that would go along with maybe some interdimensional things. Maybe the moon has something to do with our dimension and how it fluctuates or phases in with other dimensions. I've always thought about that. Do you want to read the Keel's idea? Or do you want me to, Jess?
You go ahead.
Keel's idea was that there was a force of energy that surrounds us and manifests beings for us to encounter in a grand conversation, like archetypes in the Carl Jung or Joseph Campbell sense. Okay. It's almost like an ether. So, yeah, I'll have to look into that a little bit more. It sounds like the ethereal realm and the ether to me when it comes to the paranormal end of that. But I definitely have read about Carl Jung's archetypes and stuff like that. I do know about that, and I'm deeply interested in that stuff. Yep, there is a black hole that's detected in the center of our galaxy. Yep, and allegedly, supposedly, we have taken a photo of a black hole and detected stars being sucked into them recently, which is very interesting. Mothman historian says he thought maybe one day science might be able to explain all this as interdimensional. This was his perspective on Mothman, and that's why a lot of Mothman fans go with that. Interesting. Yeah, I definitely believe that Mothman, if it was something like the eyewitnesses said it was, it's definitely not of this earth. I know a lot of people have gone out there and says, "Oh, it's a big, what is it? Mothman, the herring that was out there with the red-headed herring thing." A lot of them think it was just a big bird. I don't think so. I think locals would know what they were seeing if it was a freaking bird. I know they can get big, their wingspans can get big, but come on. Not really looking like Mothman. General likes Jung and Freud. What are you laughing at?
Sam Thomas's comments.
We'll read it.
Maybe one day the black hole will fart.
They do. They do fart. They emit super energetic streams of matter from them in the middle of quasars, like supermassive black holes. So technically they do. You should read up on it. Sandhill Crane, that's it. Thank you. I cannot remember all these details. My brain needs defragmented. Philip said, go ahead.
Philip said there is a giant owl that looks like Mothman. LOL.
It's not 7 foot tall the last time I checked.
The way my mom described Mothman was not a bird.
It had wings.
Did she seen it?
I'm guessing her mom said she saw it. A lot of people around the Point Pleasant area said they saw it. They saw the creature.
Antonio asked, what about aliens? If they crashed in Roswell and somebody does an EVP session there and gets stuff, does that mean aliens have spirits?
No, we as paranormal researchers don't know what EVP is, what the source of them are, how it happens. We don't know. So I think it wouldn't be safe to assume that aliens are spirits if you picked up one on a recorder and you didn't hear it with your ear. I don't think you should assume that.
Valerie said there are a lot of claims of interdimensional beings at the Skinwalker Ranch in Utah, I think.
Yes, I was going to bring that up. Definitely, there's a huge thing to believe that there's a government conspiracy cover-up of Skinwalker Ranch, how it's a portal for interdimensional beings to travel through. The Skinwalker was definitely a Native American thing where it was a being that could change shape and do all kinds of, supernatural things. And it's very, very interesting. Skinwalker Ranch is very, very interesting. So if you're into interdimensional beings and want to study it, Skinwalker Ranch is definitely a treasure trove full of information about that.
Sandy said my mother's seen it.
Awesome.
I would have loved to talk to her.
Mothman has a question. Have you read those cases where Bigfoot prints lead off into nothingness?
Mm-hmm. Yep. They lead to no dens, no caves. They lead to nowhere.
Jen says she saw a guy who looked like he had angel wings underneath his jacket, real tall, only once, but he was strange.
Interesting.
Josh Bender said, what if Mothman was a science experiment gone wrong or a mutation of some kind, or both?
A lot of people believe that. A lot of people said that the government was testing things out in TT bunkers and they mutated something out there. I don't know if I believe that, though.
It was kind of like what we were talking about before the show.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, if that's what was going on, then I don't know, or I don't want to know what else is going on out there. You know what I mean? Like, what else did they mutate?
Now I have a question. Didn't your mother say that there were interdimensional things on the ground at Monroe House? That she had seen them?
Yes. Yep, she even drew a picture of them. Let me see if I can bring them up for you guys. They're in my infinite folders of stuff here. I don't know where they could be. Maybe you can help read some stuff for me until I can find them. I'm not even going to try to find them. It's going to take me too long.
Okay, I was going to say the last thing I have is Bill Davis saying, shoot that mutate son bitch.
That next on Mountain Monsters or whatever that show's called.
Yeah, Joe says don't trust Bigfoot shows. I know this firsthand. Very disappointed. All I'm saying.
Yeah, they're fake as fuck. Let's be honest. They're for pure entertainment, and let's be honest, pretty much all the shows are primarily forms of entertainment and not real paranormal research and investigation at all. Very few people would be interested in the most boring attributes of real paranormal research investigation. They want to see something edited, something fantastical, something exciting. They don't want to see boring stuff. They don't want to see you sit there in a dark room for 10 hours where nothing happens. Eye strangeness and window areas are both very popular among the interdimensional research crowd. Both are ideas coined by John Keel. Window areas.
He said the quote is from Back to the Future.
What quote? Oh, yeah. Yeah, I didn't catch that. Sorry, man. One of my favorite movies, too.
Anthony said, I investigated the Pope Lick Trestle in Louisville, Kentucky a few years ago. Didn't see a monster, but I know lots of people died walking the trestle from falling to their deaths.
Wow. Yeah. It's interesting. Thanks for dropping in, Philip. Really appreciate it, man. Love to hear what you had to say about all the topics. Yeah, I mean, this whole subject is, I mean, it's fascinating. I guess the belief in extra dimensions and beings who travel in between them is very widely believed. I think it's naive to say that there's not something extra going on when it comes to space and time. Yeah, there has to be something like that going on if things like ghosts, E.T., Bigfoot, Mothman, things like that exist, non-human entities that seem to watch over us, but we can't see them. There's got to be some extra dimensions or higher dimensions going on there. And if the government has toyed around with these things, they have not been successful with understanding it totally. And when you look at the Philadelphia experiment, that was a botched job. Let's face it. According to the reports of the story, if you believe them, soldiers and sailors materialized within the steel hull of the ship when it rematerialized. That's not cool. I've even seen YouTube videos where generals and high-ranking officials got transported to different times during the Philadelphia experiment. Do I believe that? I don't think so. But it is interesting. Yeah, I don't think Mothman's evil at all. Hi, Alicia. Have you guys ever used mirrors when you all investigate to attempt a portal or keep and generate energy? I have. During ITC experiments, I've investigated places where I believe that mirrors do have something to do with the activity. Not a whole location. The reason why I personally don't do it is I don't want to do it in my house because the little bit of experimentation I did with the mirror did not turn out favorable in my experience. I have children. I have a wife. I don't want them to deal with things that come in and, do things. And at people's houses, I don't want to experiment for the same reasons. But there could be a place where we could do things that would, but the potential of it affecting people would still be there, of course. Because people, if it's at a location where other people go to, would be my concern. But if we knew more about what we were doing, maybe we could do stuff. But it's risky, I think. Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles are real, Joe.
That's
Don't kid
right.
yourself. The Philly experiment was a hoax attributed to Gray Barker himself. Gray Barker was quite the character, a WB UFO researcher who did many pranks on fellow researchers. I have heard about that. I heard that he completely made that up. But did he? Where's the proof that he made it up? I believe that there was definitely a lot of embellishments with the Philadelphia experiment. Definitely.
Alicia said, as soon as you answer my question, the broadcast interrupted and the house I live in is full of mirrors.
Oh my God. Full of mirrors? Like, what kind of house do you live in? Is it where the closet doors all have mirrors on them and stuff? I don't like houses like that. I don't like houses with a lot of mirrors in them, to be honest.
I went to the antique store today and there was like a wall of just old mirrors. I was like, well, keep on walking, keep on walking.
Did you sing that when you were there?
No.
Well, you should like do a musical. Like pull your phone out and do like a 20-second musical Facebook story for us to laugh at and enjoy.
Yeah, it probably would have been funny.
I would have laughed at it.
Okay, note taken. Next time I go.
Go ahead with Bonnie's.
She said History Channel just ran a documentary on aliens from way back past the Aztecs. I believe are here. Why can't everything else be? Things haven't been spoken in past centuries. Now cameras and phones and equipment showing the idea or proof there is.
Well, the Aztecs believed in some crazy stuff. It can get crazy when it comes to that culture. So I just think you have to take everything with a grain of salt. You have to be open-minded, but you have to think critically too. So it's hard to do that and believe in much because us as people want to believe in things. So we want our inner truths to be intact so we can have our own convictions and feel strongly about things. When we don't feel strongly about our religious beliefs and our political beliefs and we kind of stay out all of that, it's not what the elites want us to do.
Alicia said no. The lady had 32 mirrors hanging in it when I bought it.
That's not normal. Does she collect them? Had to be, right? She had to collect them. Area 51. Uh-oh, we have a Periscope comment. Oh my God. Welcome, Periscope viewer.
And
Look
the
at
crowd
that.
goes wild.
This is our first Periscope comment during the show, and I just want to shed a tear. Can we have a moment of silence? Speaking of moment of silence, I do want to bring up that one of our long-term fans and friends, Tina Nichols, passed away recently, and I want to extend my condolences to her family and those who are affected by her loss. She battled cancer for a long time, and I feel very bad that she was unable to. I feel sad that she was unable to talk to me like she once did before she got sick. So if you all would take a moment, to just send a prayer or healing energy to her family, I would really, really appreciate it, because I really, really was, rooting for her to get over that. And it's just horrible. Cancer is horrible, and it's one of these things that we have to deal with.
Did I tell you that Eddie Pence is watching on RU?
You did not.
He's the only one that showed up, besides the RU media.
Okay. Well, let's see if we can pronounce his name right. Salvatore402. Thanks for joining us on Periscope. We need more Periscope viewers, so retweet it. Do whatever.
Yes, Sandy, we have Periscope.
Periscopers is what we need.
We're on Periscope. We're on Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook. It says it right there. The pop-out says that we're on Periscope. Well, no, it don't. It says we're on Twitter. But you watch us on other platforms, so you don't need to do all that. Oh, it's 8:59. So let's wrap this up. Is there any other questions that you guys have, or any other last statements that you guys want to throw out there before we wrap up this show? I'll give you the last call right now. But I do. Gary Barker's also the first publisher of the Men in Black in 1953 via the story by his friend Albert Bender. It's evident that the Barker's less than accurate, but the question is, what about Bender? Yeah, that's a whole nother show. Maybe we should do a whole talk about the Philadelphia experiment and Gray. But who was it? I don't know what Sandy's asking.
Who was on Periscope, I think.
No, I think she was asking who passed away, maybe.
Sandy, Tina Nichols passed away.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mother died of pancreas cancer within 21 days of being told. That is horrible. I'm sorry to hear that. Yeah, that's bad. My mother's definitely been helping me and mentoring me in how to deal with losing close family members to death, and it's hard for me to conceive anything like that. I know since my dad passed away early, in 2011, he was only 54, and it just doesn't make any sense to me that we have to go through that. But we go live every Tuesday at 8 p.m. Salvatore, and we usually go to about 9, and but tomorrow, every other Wednesday, we go from 8 to 10 on a different show that we stream on Periscope. So make sure to follow this channel so you don't miss out next time.
Bonnie says she joins on Periscope for you.
Thanks, Bonnie. Appreciate it. I appreciate it. Well, you guys are awesome. Girls, thanks, for joining in, even though you're tired. I know how it feels. The show can be very daunting, but your continued support and hard work to help out this show does not go unnoticed and forgotten. So thank you very much. And thank you guys for joining me once again for another topic that leads us straight to hell. It seems like straight down that rabbit hole into the abyss of the unknown. It can be crazy there, but at any rate, thank you very much for joining me. If you want to look at these links, follow all these links to help support what we do to get further information about our paranormal work. You can check out our website at interfacedeath.net. Subscribe to the mailing list. We do not spam your inbox, but we do let you know that important updates come up, and it's the hub of everything that we do paranormal. If you're watching on YouTube rather, Justin Brown Paranormal Research is where to follow the show on Facebook. We're on Twitter. We're on Instagram. We're on Patreon. We're on YouTube. If you have not subscribed to our YouTube channel yet, please do so. It's free. If you want to donate to the show and don't want to do Patreon, you can always do so through PayPal. You can PayPal us during the show using the link, and it will shout you out and send up a little notification, which is cool. And you can join us on Discord as well. It's a way to interact with us outside of all social media networks, and it's a cool thing. You should try it. I think my camera. See if my camera did die, folks. Let me see if I can fix that. Webcam. Go deactivate. Activate. Here I am. So we always shout out our patrons. Without our patrons,